Sitting next to me today is an Audi A6 Premium Plus. This is the new generation of A6 that came out in 2019. Today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the exterior, interior, and the driving experience of this car. Now, starting on the exterior, of course, this is typical A6 look. You have these sharp design LED headlights up front with this massive Audi grille with, of course, the Audi rings in there. Now, something I have disliked about Audis and their grills on their baseline A models forever is the fact that they have it look pretty good where you can stick your fingers through here in the vents so it can get to the engine and cool the engine. But down here, it's just hard plastic going across the bottom right here, which is something that they've been doing forever. And it's super bad on the A4 too. Not the biggest fan of it. And of course, you have more fake vents up here to add styling, but that's not so much of a sin because everyone in the car industry does that. Now, coming over to the side, this is the S-Line. So you get these S-Line wheels, of course, and you get this S-Line badge right here. And you also have a bunch of chrome accents on the outside of the A6 as well. But unlike the Q8, you do not have the frameless windows right here, which kind of sucks, but you do have blind spot monitoring that's built into the outside of the mirrors. The exterior of this car is finished in Vesuvius gray metallic, and the inside is brown leather. Now, I'm not a huge fan of black cars, especially in hot environments, because in the hot environments, the black heats up the car even more. But the way this looks, I can almost forgive that. Now, coming back here, you have more of a sharp design LED taillight back here with a massive chrome bar stretching across the rear with, of course, your A6 Audi badge and Quattro badge back here. And then again, typical Audi, fake exhaust tips. Now, as for the cargo capacity of the A6, you get 13.7 cubic feet of cargo space back here, and you also get these tie-down points back here just in case anything that you're carrying around you don't want flying over. Now, you also have these nets back here just in case you need to secure anything, and over there you do have a 12-volt socket just in case you need to power anything that's sitting in your trunk. Sadly, this one does not have the electronically closing trunk, but other than that, it's a pretty good sized boot. All right, now as for the engine inside of the A6, this is a 3-liter turbocharged V6, of course, making 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, if that sounds familiar, though those are the same power numbers that were inside of the Q8. And just like the Q8, this uses Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system, and that's all mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission. And let me tell you what, in the driving review I'll go over this more, but this is a pretty quick sedan for being an A6 and not being the S6. Alrighty, so you see everything, the seats and the steering wheel adjust for when you step in the car, and when you turn off the car, everything gets out of your way. Now, just like the Q8, you have Audi's digital cockpit, and then you also have the top and bottom screen, with the bottom screen controlling your climate controls, and the top one controlling everything else like your phone navigation and media. Now, something that I think is cool, and I think is the coolest thing in this vehicle, is the camera system in here, especially the 3D surround view that you get. Can view literally everything, but you can't see this side of the car. Remember that if you do have the doors open, it will gray out that part of the car, but you also get a bird's eye view camera right here and a bunch of other camera options you can look at. This has wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, and if you want to wirelessly charge your phone, you have a wireless charger in here with 2 USB Type A ports instead of USB Type C. Now, the cup holders in here are a decent size as well. This is a pretty normal sized Aquafina water bottle and just fits right there. You also have a 12-volt socket right here as well, just in case you did need one of those. Now, as for the Audi digital cockpit, it is pretty configurable. My favorite screen to have it on is the navigation system, of course, but you can also set it to show your fuel economy. You can make the gauges bigger if you'd like. You can show your media controls, and you can show any telephone notifications if you'd like. Now, this one doesn't have the executive package, which means you don't get the better rear climate control or the ventilated seats or the adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist. This one doesn't have any of that. But other than that, the interior of this does have some nice other features in it. You do have a driver assistance right here, like pre-collision alert, braking assist, just in case you need to do that. It would alert you when you are getting too close to a vehicle or anything like that when you're about to get into a wreck. Now, this also uses the Bang & Olufsen 3D premium audio system with 16 speakers, and I can't explain to you in words how good it sounds, but just like the Q8, if you were sitting in an IMAX theater, take that times 10 and stick it in a car, and that's how good the audio system in this vehicle is. Now, on this bottom screen, you can also control things like home link or auto stop start, and you can also put different apps down here if you would like. Now, you also have drive modes in this car, which include comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. And dynamic is going to be your sport mode. Auto is going to let the car choose it for you. Comfort, of course, is going to be more like your normal. Individual is going to let you individually define what parts of the car you want to be sporty or in comfort mode. Pretty typical. Navigation system is also good. It's always been good in Audis. And if you get a certain subscription service, you can configure it to have Google Maps as well. And you can also have it show you live weather with that subscription service as well. As for the materials in here, honestly, I think they are nicer than the Q8s. You get a lot more chrome and aluminum trim pieces around. You have this nice wood and a bunch of leather on the sides right here. The seats and soft leather on the top of the doors and on the top of the dash, and down here even on the door bins, which is really nice. And you also get a sunroof up here just in case you're interested in using that. Now, something I like in the newer Audi models is their steering wheels. This is a little different than the Q8 was. It's a little more sharper designed, but you have this piano black plastic that's on top of the buttons. Now, be wary, this will get dirty with fingerprints if you use it a lot and have greasy little fingers, but it looks really good. I think it's one of the best looking out of all the German cars. Now, moving into the back seats right now, I thought I would have a lot less legroom because where my seat is right now is where I would typically sit pretty low, but I do still have a good 3 inches of legroom back here. And since, unlike the A7, which would have a lot less headroom than this does have a decently manageable amount of headroom. If I sit all the way up, my head is still not touching the ceiling. You do have climate control settings back here. If you go up to the executive package, you get a little more customization. You also have 2 USB Type A and a 12-volt socket. These seats back here, of course, are comfortable just like the front ones are. You get nice materials everywhere, access to that amazing Bang & Olufsen sound system. And as for your cup holders back here, they are a decent size. And it's a nice little soft armrest with a little center console storage area if you'd like that. And just in case you're interested in carrying skis or snowboards or anything like that, you do have pass-through back to the trunk, which increases that trunk space. All right, driving the A6. I'm in comfort mode right now, which means the throttle response is pretty light and it's not all jumpy, and the steering is pretty light and isn't all tight like it would be when you're doing some cornering. But there is dynamic mode, which I will go into in a second. Now, something I want to complain about right off the bat is the fact that the suspension in this thing is a little harsh over bumps. It's not going to be Q8 good because the Q8's an SUV. But the suspension in this doesn't do the best of mitigating some harsher bumps in the road or harsher potholes. Over a good amount of things it is fine, but it can be a little jarring sometimes. There's also a lot of body roll when going around turns or doing a U-turn or anything like that. It is, it's pretty noticeable to have that much body roll. But nonetheless, that Quattro all-wheel drive system, negate the body roll. The Quattro all-wheel drive system does hold it well around turns, so it's not like you're going to be flying all over the place, and it doesn't feel like you're driving a massive boat. All right, now I'm going to put it into dynamic, which is just done using these buttons down here. Put your foot down, and it is a quick car. It's really quick. Quicker than I would have expected. Audi claims a 5.102 60 time, and I know you guys hate that I don't have a 0 to 60 timer to test that, and we are working on getting one. But nonetheless, this does feel really quick for an A car. I'm surprised. Like, if you don't care about performance that much, but you still want something that's fast and really nice on the interior, then this could be your car, because though this isn't the S model, at least it doesn't have the inline 4, but it also doesn't have the V8. It's definitely not the RS model. The Q8 was definitely slower in acceleration than this is, but what is crazy is, oh yeah, I believe that 5.10 to 60 time. Definitely believe it. Now, this is claimed to get about 23 miles per gallon combined, 19 city, 25 highway, and with the range at a full tank is what we were at, about 520 miles. It has a 19.3 gallon fuel tank. So if you're driving just to and from work, to the grocery store or anything like that, then you actually might be able to get away with not filling up for 2 weeks at a time. What's funny is on the gas cap back there, it says 95 octane fuel. And in Las Vegas, the highest we have is 91. Sometimes you can go find 100, but specific places, most places here are 91 max. So you're not going to be putting 95, and 91 works fine on these cars, but they do recommend 95 for the best optimal performance. So you might not be getting that full 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. We can turn around right here. Oh yeah, that is not slow. And there are no cars around or anything like that, or people. We are being safe while doing stuff like that. But it is very quick, and you can definitely get up to highway speeds very, very, very quickly, without a doubt. Steering this as well, it's good enough for what it is. I've been in more direct cars than this, but the steering is pretty good for what this is. Now, as for braking power, this doesn't have R8 brakes. It's got 4 pistons up front. They are pretty good. They're manageable. You shouldn't be tracking this car anyways, but the brakes are pretty good to slow you down from those highway speeds. But overall, I really like how this car drives. Like getting around a corner with Quattro, it is nice, and you see the camera falling back like that. That is Ethan being pushed into his seat. So it does definitely throw you back a little, and that's due to that all-wheel drive, just being able to instantly catch and go. If I were to do that in a rear-wheel drive vehicle and put my foot down around a corner, you would not be getting good traction. This manages to control the traction very well, and it has torque vectoring, which is always a good thing in these all-wheel drive cars. Now, right now, with the short-term fuel economy, this is over 14 miles, getting about 10.8 miles per gallon. But over the long term, this is over the last 29,000 miles, you're getting about 23.4. So it's hitting that mark for its fuel economy very, very well. But overall, guys, I really like the way this drives. If you're looking for a mildly sporty car that also has a bunch of luxury features in it, the A6 could be for you. And if you're going for those ventilated seats, try and finding one with the executive package, and you will get them. That's all you got to worry about. Like I said, you could pick these up for under $50,000 now, which is about $20,000 or more off of the price tag for the original MSRP of this. And of course, that's under 30,000 miles with no accidents on them. And I want to thank Gaudin Porsche for letting us take this car out today. They have this on their used lot for around $47,500. It was very nice of them to let us take this car out and review it, and we are greatly appreciative of it. It helps us grow the channel even more. All right, and that is the Audi A6. Now, the price of these starting is around $66,000, $67,000 now, but you're starting to be able to pick these used up around the $45,000 mark if you go for the Premium Plus model with less than 30,000 miles. Overall, I really like this car, and with used values, I think they are a pretty good deal for everything that you get out of them. Anyways, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.